It's 10 p.m. in Banjul, and from our studios on MDI Road, this is the news hour. At the top of the news this hour, harnessing the Gambia's huge energy potential and ensuring full implementation of a national action plan topped the agenda at a two-day interface staged by the Ministry of Energy. Members of Guinea-Bissau's National Farmer Association seek to establish a close partnership with the Gambia. Child Protection Alliance embarks on an ambitious drive to build a critical mass of community representatives and ward councillors armed with skills to track budgets. Police in Pakistan break up what they are calling a child sexual abuse ring involving a staggering 270 minors. And debt-saddled Greece says it has been overwhelmed by the thousands of migrants landing on its shores. These and other stories coming ahead in the next half hour. I am Isa Tudavo. You're watching the news hour on GRTS. Thank you for joining us. His Excellency Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, President of the Arab Republic of Egypt, has sent a message to the President, His Excellency Sheikh Professor Al-Haji Dr. Yahya AJJ Jammeh Babili Mansa, and the text reads, "It is with immense pleasure that I extend to Your Excellency heartfelt congratulations on the occasion on the advent of Eid al-Fitr. May God Almighty bestow health upon you and bless your brotherly people and all peoples of the Islamic nation with ever more progress and prosperity. Highest consideration and appreciation," it concludes. The President of the United Arab Emirates, Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan, has also sent a felicitatory message to Professor Jammeh, and the text reads, "The auspicious occasion of Eid al-Fitr holiday gives me pleasure to extend to Your Excellency my warmest congratulations, wishing Your Excellency every happiness and continued progress to the brotherly people of your country. With highest consideration and esteem," the text ends. Still on those messages from world leaders, Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Jabbar Al-Sabah, Emir of the State of Kuwait, writes, "Your Excellency, on the advent of Eid al-Fitr celebrations, I have the pleasure to address my warm wishes and pray to Allah, the Almighty, for the renewal of this event every year. Ever bring bliss and happiness to the Islamic Ummah. May Allah the Almighty keep on blessing Your Excellency with good health and welfare, and grant your friendly country and its charming people further progress and prosperity. Highest consideration," the text ends. The message from Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Vice President and Prime Minister of the United Arab Emirates and ruler of Dubai, reads, "The auspicious occasion of Eid al-Fitr gives me the pleasure to extend to Your Excellency my warmest congratulations, wishing Your Excellency every happiness and continued progress to the brotherly people of your country. With highest consideration and esteem," it ends. Still on messages from world leaders addressed to the head of state, Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi and Deputy Supreme Commander of the United Arab Emirates Armed Forces, writes, "The occasion of Eid al-Fitr gives me pleasure to extend to Your Excellency my warmest congratulations, wishing Your Excellency every happiness and continued progress to the brotherly people of your country. With highest consideration and esteem," the message ends. Government on Tuesday dispatched a high-powered delegation led by the Vice President and Minister of Women's Affairs to the residence of veteran broadcaster and legendary historian Al-Haji Mansour Njai to sympathize with the bereaved family. The late Al-Haji Mansour Njai died on Tuesday. GRTS's Famara Kanyi was there, and this is his report.
He was a journalist and a historian, working with the microphone for several decades. First at the National Radio and later with both the radio and TV. He was a legend in both circles and was widely respected in the Gambia and Senegal. The hundreds, if not thousands, who have been visiting the bereaved family, among them senior government officials, Islamic scholars, and people from all walks of life to offer their condolences, attest to his greatness. President Jammeh dispatched the Vice President and Women's Affairs Minister, Ajah Dr. Aisat Njai Sedi, to the bereaved family. She paid glowing tribute to the late Al-Haji Mansour Njai. The Imam Ratib of Banjul, Alhaji Cherno Aliu Maska, used the occasion to thank the President for his compassion and respect for Muslims. He praised Mansour Njai for his commitment to national duty, adding his sacrifices are yielding dividend. The family of the late Alhaji Mansour Njai thanked the Gambian leader for sharing their loss. The late Alhaji Mansour Njai was a huge resource to staff of Gambia radio and television services due to his sharp wit, in-depth knowledge of issues, history, and above all, patience. He was also a soldier to lean on during tough times, and will certainly be missed by the numerous broadcasters and others who look to him for inspiration and moral support. For GRTS News, I am Famara Kani.
When the passing of the veteran broadcaster and renowned Gambian historian was announced, scores of sympathizers flocked to Alhaji Mansour Njai's Thompson residence to pay homage to the legend and sympathize with his family. Samuel Ba has more on what some of the mourners said about Njai's legacy.
Veteran broadcaster Alhaji Mansour Njai passed away early Tuesday morning at the age of 80 at his home in the capital city, Banjul. The widely admired radio and TV presenter was also known for his deep understanding of the Gambia's political and traditional records. As news of his passing away filtered through, scores of people expressed shock at the sudden death of Mr. Njai. Others, however, briefly touched on the immortal legacy he left behind, especially in the media fraternity where he helped shape many journalists.
We've lost a great friend. We've lost one of us in the Muslim Ummah in Banjul and by extension in the Gambia. He was a great man who shared with us his belief, his religious ambition, and we are very grateful to Allah for what he has done today. We should take solace from Allah's wish what he has done, and I would say that Mansour was a splendid character, a wonderful Muslim who worked for the Ummah. Only last week when we were at State House to share joy at the end of Ramadan in the Eid al-Fitr, he made a wonderful presentation tracing back the history of the Committee of Banjul Muslim Elders when it was formed in 1900. He reminded us of the functions and what has happened from 1900 today. HED President was very happy, and he showed his happiness by extending gifts to him.
Mr. Mboj further extended his heartfelt condolences to the deceased family, especially to his former workplace GRTS, saying the country has lost a soul hard to replace.
Mansour was a very wonderful man, full of history, wealth of knowledge. He knew the Gambia back and forth. His religion was the most in his mind. He was a responsible person, responsible in the broad sense of the word. He was magnanimous. He helped the poor. He did what was required of him as a Muslim. By extension, to every person that he dealt with. In a nutshell, we say we have lost a wonderful partner, a true Muslim, a true son of the Gambia. He loved the country. What we would miss from Mansour is that he did not leave his knowledge behind.
Harping on the iconic resilience of the veteran, Alhaji Lamin Manga, the Director General of the state's broadcaster, said out of love for his country, Mansour Njai even continued to serve years after his retirement.
It is a great loss for GRTS particularly, but it's a great loss for the media fraternity. It's a great loss for the Gambia in many ways. This is a man that you could call him a well, where we all draw inspiration, intellect and talent from, and he's taught so many many of us, we've picked up a lot from. But just imagine a man that 20 years after retirement, serving his country. It was only during the Korite peace that we last benefited from his contributions. So we want to extend our thanks to the audiences that have been following this man over the past 4 decades or so. If you listen to JRT's radio today, you would have heard the outpour and the well-wishers that have joined the family in these trying moments. So I want to use this opportunity to say thank you to everybody, particularly to His Excellency the President, who has also sent in a delegation to offer condolences. Barely a week ago, President Jammeh did in fact mention that he wanted to help Mr. Njai to support him with his eye difficulties, and unfortunately that didn't happen. But like they would say in Wolof, Enebi Agana, the intention was there, and we want to thank him for that, and thank the entire Gambian community for their support. Thank you.
Alhaji Sering Seka, Alhaji Baye Seni Seka Bilal, Alhaji Sering Maranjai, Alhaji Dauda Jany, Alhaji Dudu Mbub, the Imam Ratib of Banjul, all express similar sentiments about a man who has left a huge gap in the Gambian media. For few who had the opportunity to work with him, such as veteran broadcaster Suleiman Jai, described him as an unrivaled pioneer of broadcasting in the Gambia, who was always encouraging and supportive to young people. He has been a truly recognizable voice on both the radio and television, a man who saw the nascent stage of the old Radio Gambia and lived through to the age when the radio and TV became a unifying symbol of the country's development. Samuel Ba, GRTS.
Stakeholders in the business of energy provision have been discussing the best possible way to implement a national action plan capable of ensuring the availability and rational use of renewable energy. Ibrahim Majala has more on the two-day forum that attracted the attention of ECOWAS.
The two-day forum is anchored on the implementation of a well-structured national action plan for the provision and efficient use of renewable energy with a view to curbing the impact of climate change and reducing the importation of expensive crude oil to serve the country's energy needs. In his opening statement, the Minister of Energy, Dr. Edward Sajasane, said the document is in line with the national drive to addressing challenges faced in the energy sector. He said the Gambia government, in collaboration with stakeholders, is poised to provide a sustainable energy for all, making use of natural resources such as solar energy.
The availability of a reliable system of energy supply that is efficient, affordable, and environmentally sound is one of the vital components of the Gambia government's developmental agenda, which focuses on poverty alleviation and the attainment of Vision 2016 and Vision 2020. In recognition of the vital role of energy in socio-economic development of any country, the government of the Gambia, under the dynamic leadership of His Excellency, Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yaya AJJ Jammeh, has been doing all what is possible to provide the vital services of energy to the economy. It has been a challenge, but with the support from our development partners like ECRI, significant achievements have been registered in the energy sector.
The energy policy analyst for ECOWAS Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, ECRI, outlined the position of ECOWAS in the implementation of renewable energy programs in the sub-region. He said West Africa is endowed with different energy sources, thus the need to utilize them efficiently. He described the document as timely, adding that the Gambia is the 4th country in the sub-region that validated this program.
West Africa possesses enormous energy resources, conventional and renewable, ranging from hydroelectric power, crude oil, natural gas, coal, solar, wind, geothermal, and bioenergy. With a population of over 300 million people, a figure roughly equivalent to 1/3 of the population of the African continent. We still have one of the lowest electricity consumption rates in the world. Added to this, as the director rightly pointed out, issues of inefficiency in terms of our energy use. There are high transmission and commercial losses in our electricity systems. These losses are estimated to be as high as 20% and 40% throughout the entire region.
Experts on renewable energy have already tabled the document, which, if validated, is expected to turn a new page for an efficient supply of renewable energy and ensure a fresh environment for all. Ibrahima Diallo, GRTS News.
Gambian Catholics will on Saturday, 15th August, mark the feast of the Assumption of Mary, Queen of Peace into Heaven, or Saint Mary. The feast has both political and spiritual significance, for it was on that day that the Portuguese explorers set foot on our shores. On the religious front, however, the feast is celebrated in grand style at the Cathedral of Our Lady of the Assumption. GRTS's Etienne Silva sat down with Father Antoine Sambu to discuss the significance of the patronal feast of the Diocese of Banjul.
In 72 hours' time, on Saturday, on the 15th of August, an estimated 1.2 billion Catholics in the globe will celebrate the feast of the Assumption as parish priest of the Cathedral of Our Lady of the Assumption, which is the mother of the Diocese of Banjul. Tell us the history of the feast of the Assumption.
This feast has been celebrated since around the 6th and 7th century. It was seen as something very important in the faith of the Catholic Church, that they should recognize Mary, the mother of Jesus. And without the consent, or let me say the approval of the church, people or dioceses were celebrating it in different areas around the world. But in 1950, Pope Pius XII recognized this feast, took it up, and created a dogma for it. That means a teaching of faith for the feast. And all that he said was that at the end of her earthly life, that Mary was assumed body and soul into heaven. That Mary was not buried as most of us will be, or most people have who have died, that they were buried. And but Mary, because of who she was, that she was a special person, that she was prepared for a special duty on earth, to be the mother of Jesus, that she, after her earthly life, was assumed body and soul into heaven. From then on, it became, or it was recognized by the church, and it was celebrated everywhere in the world.
The Feast of the Assumption of Mary into heavenly glory is unarguably the most celebrated Feast of Mary. How should it be celebrated in the world, especially in the Gambia?
Well, we just give her a fitting celebration. You know, Mary is a very special person in the church and in the Christian faith. I mean, she was the mother of Jesus. We know Jesus is the Savior of the world. We call him the Son of God, and indeed he is. And that she was prepared in a very special way. She was conceived without sin. That's why we celebrate the Feast of the Immaculate Conception. And also, while on earth, she was preserved in a special way so that she could carry this special person, and that's Jesus. And so, celebrating her feast, we do it in a very special way. We know we worship God, we adore God, but Mary, we honor her. We give her special honor. We give her special respects because of all these things that happened to her. And the greatest thing, in fact, was when she accepted. Because after all that took place in her life, that she was preserved from sin and all the rest, she was asked by the angel at the feast of the Annunciation, when the angel of God came to her and asked her if she would be the mother of Jesus. And her response was, "I am the handmaid of the Lord, let what you have said be done to me." So she accepted all that took place and happened in her life. So when we celebrate her feast, we recall all these and we thank her and praise her for what she has done, to give us an example of how to follow Jesus. We really give her such a special place and honor in the church.
In the Gambia, a shrine is consecrated at the far-flung Komboy settlement of Kunkujang, where thousands of Catholic faithfuls flock there on a yearly basis for pilgrimage. And here in the hundreds-old church, which is the cathedral of Our Lady at the Assumption, the mother church of the Diocese of Banjul, is named after her assumption into heavenly glory. Tell us why all this reverence to the Virgin Mary.
Yes, all over the world, especially among Catholics, we have these shrines being erected in honor of her. Some, in fact, believed that she appeared. There are apparitions of Mary in places where she will say, "I want you to build an altar for me here," or "I want you to build a church for me here." It's all geared towards her teaching us how to follow Jesus well. Because when she appears to people, she tells them, pray for sinners, pray for conversion, pray for your souls. He asks us to do a lot of things. So we try to do the same in having these shrines all over the place, to go and ask her to pray for us, because she's very close to her son. And whatever she asks her son, he does it. So Mary's Lutheran Church is so great. We cannot, we call her mother of the church, because Christ is the head of the church and we are the members. And she is the mother of Christ is the mother of the church.
As we celebrate her assumption into heavenly glory in 72 hours, what is your message to thousands of Gambian Catholics who are watching you?
Well, we'll encourage them to all come to the cathedral, because this is the place. This is the church named after this feast, and this is also the patron feast of the diocese. It's not only the parish feast of the cathedral, but also of the diocese. So to come here to be one as we do the celebration, and also to do the rest of the traditional things that take place here, that happens every Sangmari. The bishop is the chief celebrant, and will be surrounded by some priests, and then we'll have the mass as usual, and after the mass we have the traditional way of continuing the celebration by having Vespers at the Holy Spirit Church. And then from then we process with the statue of Mary, singing her praises and showing her to the whole world and to the Banjulians, the city of Banjul, because the city also is named after St. Mary.
Father Antoine Sambova talking to GRTS's H.N. Silva. Nearly 100 members of Guinea-Bissau's National Agriculture Association have been working on the land in Kanilai in a show of solidarity with President Jammeh's farming activities. As we hear in this report by Mamadou Diallo, the association is looking forward to building a close partnership with the Gambia.
The Associación Nacional de Agricultores de Guinea-Bissau, ANAG, is an umbrella group that brings together farmers from across the 9 provinces of Guinea-Bissau. Nearly 100 members of the association, which was formed in 1992, are in Kanilai to show solidarity with the Gambian leaders' farming activities. Speaking to GRTS, the national president of ANAG, Zaivid Bolis Gomez, said the objective of their association is to bring together farmers to harmonize efforts to improve their lives. In order to achieve this goal, Gomez said they intend to explore opportunities to build solid and mutually beneficial partnerships with other established farmers from across the sub-region. After careful consideration, he added, They chose President Jammeh because of his distinguished track record in promoting and advancing agricultural production in the Gambia. Gomez said that President Jammeh has achieved remarkable progress in poverty reduction by revolutionizing agriculture, and as such, serves as a role model for African countries to emulate. With such a trip, ANAC hopes to seek the President's help to enable and replicate the Gambia's successes in Guinea-Bissau. Musa Dumbia, the consultant of ANAC, thanked the Gambian ambassador to Guinea-Bissau for facilitating their trip and expressed the hope that this maiden trip will build the foundation for a fruitful cooperation between them and the President. He described President Jammeh as a great revolutionary icon who is working tirelessly to actualize the ideals of Amilcar Cabral. Kumbambalo, a representative of the Gabu region, said women play an important role in agriculture and household food security in Guinea-Bissau. She is optimistic that the President would look favorably on them and help them replicate the Gambia's successes in Guinea-Bissau. The veteran woman farmer hailed the enormous work currently ongoing in Kanilai, which she said serves as an example for the rest of Africa. The delegation arrived on Monday and intend to stay for a week to learn more about the President's farming activities and help in weeding of the groundnut farm. Mamadou Diallo, GRTS News.
Elsewhere in Batakunku, to be more precise, a 2,000-strong youth volunteer corps took on President Jammeh's farm on Wednesday to help ensure a bumper harvest. Aisata Kaito was there and she now reports.
These youth from across the country thronged the President's Batakunku farm to clear some parts of the vast land as others sow groundnut, coos, as well as plant fruit trees like coconut and oranges. Among the huge volunteer corps was Chief of Kombo South, Sheriff M. Jane, who did not only help supervise the farm work, but also expressed satisfaction with the level of commitment shown by the youths ahead of the Vision 2016 target. Several APRC bigwigs were also on the ground. Among them, Aidandur, Councillor Fosanyang, Bafode Ture, the National Women's Mobilizer, and Buba Ture, youth mobilizer at the Fajara Barracks, who all saluted the youth volunteers for their move. Youths such as Babukar Jallo from Banjulunding and Ensa Nying from the North Bank region also thanked the Gambian leader for providing them the conducive environment in making all this come true and pledged their support to the attainment of the Vision 2016. At a time when a lot of prominence is given to the agricultural sector by the Jammeh administration, the youth of the country appear knee-deep in the anti-hunger crusade. Aisata Kaito, GRTS.
Still on the all-important subject of agriculture, custodians of the farm cultivated by staff of the Office of the President and volunteers from Lamin and surrounding villages have been removing weed from a 6-acre field. H.N. Silva reports.
They appeared enthused by the President's Back to the Land call to cultivate these 6 acres of farm with 3 different varieties of crop and cereals few weeks ago. Today, they are back on the ground to pick the weeds as the produce begin to grow satisfactorily. The morning activity involved custodians of the farm and scores of volunteers from Lamin and surrounding villages who descended on the farm to do what they do best.
This farm is very good. This is our first time President's Office to produce a farm, responding the call of the President. Let us go back to the land.
Jaju, who is currently managing the farm, also considers this activity as their own contribution to the National Vision 2016 agenda. Volunteers including Lisa Konate, Landing Kote, and others who came to the farm to give a helping hand, expressed solidarity with the President's worthwhile farming initiative while promising to respond anytime they may be needed. The recent past has witnessed a groundswell of public institutions venturing into farming as their own response to the President's hunger eradication agenda. Now, experts have envisaged that the proceeds from these farms can be used to complement their feeding expenditure.
Since the closing time has now changed to 6 o'clock, most departments are forced to provide food for their staff. And having farms like this will definitely complement those efforts. At least it will cut down the expenses they will incur in purchasing food.
The crops have given promising growth that instill hope to the custodians for a bumper harvest in the future. But experts have advised that constant weeding is required to prevent the proceeds from perishing. Achan Silva, GRTS News.
The establishment of the University of the Gambia in 1995 by government to fill the void created by the lack of such an important facility blazed a trail and encouraged foreign investors to put their money into what is by some accounts a lucrative venture. A number of universities have since set up shop in the Gambia. But one newcomer is not only trying to make its presence felt, but is as well trying to spread its tentacles further. Isata Kaita has that story.
Islamic education continue to gain ground in the country. Tertiary institutions are not relenting in their quest to spread the word. Taking advantage of the socio-cultural environment and the enviable gains recorded in the area of higher education, the Islamic Online University has unveiled an Arabic language course. The program is in line with the growing demand to study Arabic.
What we are doing is not really new, in the sense that Islamic knowledge has been propagated for centuries, both in the Gambia and the world at large, from the Majlis setup where people will go and sit under the fire, around the fire and learn from their teacher, and the daras, the madrasas. But the world is evolving into a more technologically driven world. So for that to meet the needs of the people of the present day, we came up with similar teachings, but giving it in the medium of the interests of people of today. So we come up with online learning where people can, in the comfort of their own homes, learn authentic Islam without having to worry about leaving their houses or having to pay air tickets to travel to other countries to do that. It's at the comfort of your own home.
Over the years, the Gambia has witnessed unprecedented developments in the area of higher education. Investment is largely linked to peace and political stability. The Islamic Online University is poised to deliver.
I think when you mention vision, I would go back and look at my notes and say that, and go back to the reason why we designed this particular program. It's the Global Arabic Language Program, GALP, not the gas station, different GALP. So when we sat, before anything existed, before we had even a name, the focus that we came together and said this is what we're going to focus on as we were designing the program was, number one, to develop Muslims. It was designed to develop Gambian Muslims, because this program is not anywhere else right now. It's only existing in the Gambia. So Gambian Muslims until we move the program to another country. Gambian Muslims in the aspects of religion, number one, and in the aspects of their professional lives. And what I mean by that is, for example, people who want to trade, or people who want to learn how to be, people who want to be interpreters, or people who want to work for embassies, like in Arabic countries.
What is the driving force behind this initiative?
It's difficult to say exactly from the people's perspective, but from our perspective, I can say that we are designing this to develop Muslims in the aspects of religion and their professional lives. Now, someone might want to study Arabic for diplomatic purposes. Someone might want to study Arabic for trade. And someone might be interested in the Arabic language to understand the Quran. So you have all these different avenues that people come from, whether they're Muslims or not. But just based on past experience, even when I was in the US at the university, you would see that non-Muslims were very interested in studying Arabic. So maybe on a case-by-case basis, you can get from individuals why they want to study this language. Maybe some people study it for the beauty of it, and they actually do say that. They say it's because of the beauty of the language. It's beautiful.
The fact that the Gambia prides itself as a largely Muslim nation, learning Arabic language may help a great deal to improve Islamic knowledge. On the other hand, it can also be interpreted as a sign of a nation that is receptive to other foreign cultures and languages. Aissatou Keita, GRTS.
The serious dearth of top-of-the-range sporting facilities will soon be a thing of the past, at least if all goes to plan. The landmark decision to construct a state-of-the-art stadium, complete with multipurpose complexes, grounds with artificial turf, and a vast array of sporting facilities in Brufut was recently made public. Babakar Senghor reports Norwegian-born Gambian Mamadi Cisse is the force behind the ambitious project.
The glitzy walls of this magnificent hotel was the venue for an announcement of significant importance to Gambia's sporting development. For all of Gambia's steady progress in sports development and government's admirable investment in improving this vital sector, the industry continues to struggle in the face of low private sector involvement. This is all set to change, with what many regard as one of the most important developments in Gambian sports. This project is expected to not only revitalize sports and recreation, but also ensure the future development of a sector which has been crying out for such massive investment.
This evening, we call you here and the nation to unveil to you special developments, we call them gifts, which have been brought about through this great partnership.
But who are the faces behind this major investment?
For me, it's very simple. I cannot tell you a story that you will believe. But for me personally, it's not about money.
Mamadi Cisse was born in Norway to Gambian parents. He leads a consortium called NOGA, a group he helped found and one hoping to redraw the country's sporting landscape.
When people hear this story, a true story, many would ask, when is this taking off?
No, I knew you will ask me that question, and I'm happy to tell you is that me, for the first, I'm a man. I don't like to talk too much about fresh air. So what I did before we had the press conference, I sent all the funds to a bank in Gambia. I think maybe somebody from the bank even was present here today. The money is already in the account, and now we are just expecting the community to locate a land for us. If you have a land tomorrow, the project starts tomorrow. The funds are here.
The consortium's investment has already borne fruits. The close-knit coastal community has a football team armed with the resources to offset the balance of power in Gambian football.
Yeah, I'm very happy because it will only make life easier for not only for footballers but Gambian footballers.
This is, like you said, it's a one-off thing. It's one that is very much hard to come by, and I want to urge the Brufut community. I am saying community, not only the sports committee, but the community, to hold it with all firmness and ensure that they make the best use of it.
Players from the victorious Brufut United side that won the West Coast Regional Championship were present at the unveiling of the stadium plans. The team behind this major development says plans are underway to shape 9 huge containers laden with sporting equipment for the construction of this multi-purpose sporting facility in Brufut.
We are looking forward to this, with a lot of enthusiasm, Babakar, because like you said, this is unprecedented. Yes, FIFA has helped, in building an artificial turf, but to have, individuals, that are coming with not only artificial turf, but an entire facility structure, complete with, shops, schools, academy, and all these paraphernalia is really, really unprecedented.
I think it's a historic day and moment for sports development in the country, especially football.
With huge financial requirements needed to complete this massive project, a fact not lost on Mamadi, but the Noga boss says his team has the financial resources and, more importantly, the commitment and desire to translate these ambitious undertakings into concrete structures. For GRTS, is Babakar Senghor.
Community members, ward councillors and local state actors have been sharpening their budget preparation and tracking skills under the auspices of Child Protection Alliance. The two-day interface, as we hear in this report by Aissatou Keita, forms part of efforts expected to lead to better supervision and monitoring of budgets and increased budgetary allocation for social sectors.
Budget preparations and related issues was the cornerstone of deliberation as KMC and Brikama Area Council were engaged by Child Protection Alliance, an agency that seeks to promote the rights and welfare of children in the Gambia. Among the aims of this exchange meeting is bringing together stakeholders for further comprehension of the process involved in budgeting and how they can be involved in the effective supervision and monitoring of budgets and budgetary allocation.
For us at CPA, this is a very important meeting of local governments, but also how communities can influence to a greater extent those budgets in the best interest of their children. This is important because it promotes transparency. So everybody got to know what's happening, what's in the kitty, and how what is in the kitty is divided.
As continued by the Executive Director of Child Protection Alliance, the challenges that councils and local government face is good for accountability and transparency, as well as democracy, given its linkage with participatory budgeting and democracy inclusion. Njundu Drame further mentioned that the rights and welfare of children should be protected.
We are here mainly because all of us, I know, are also concerned about our children, about the welfare of our children, about how we go to protect, promote, and fulfill the rights of our children. In our local saying, we always hear this cliche, children are the future. We say this all the time. For me, I think it emphasizes the premium that we place on our children, but also on the future that they would live in. So the investment that we do for our children, on behalf of our children, in the lives of our children, are absolutely very important, because that would determine the future that they would live in.
The Deputy Mayor of Kanifing Municipality, Momodu Jaite, applauded CPA, arguing that they have been instrumental in the advocacy and guidance for the upkeep of Gambian children.
Children of this municipality, we know, we have a responsibility as a council. And we have been doing at least looking at areas that we can intervene in terms of the protection and development of our own children. We have certain intervention areas, like we have what is called the scholarship sponsorship fund at the council that has been there for a long time, and it's meant for the children.
Program Officer, Gambia Association of Local Government Authorities, Adama Jeng, emphasized the importance of children, arguing that they have needs that require keen attention.
You know what we are talking about? We are not just talking about budgets, we are talking about democracy and good governance. One of the elements, the indicators of good governance, is participation at decision making. Allocating budgets are taking decisions, and they are very key.
The protection of children's rights is one sure way of ensuring their considered inculcation in the build-up of any society, and this engagement by CPA, local communities and administrators may be very pivotal in doing just that. Aissatou Keita, GRTS.
We will be back with news from outside the Gambia after this break.
National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, the Gambia's best and leading provider of quality petrol and diesel oil of European standard for your vehicles. GNPC is Gambia's very owned company, providing various services ranging from car wash, lube bay, and tire services. Walk into any GNPC branch and purchase quality and genuine products such as engine oil for diesel and petrol, blades, tires, spark plugs, radiator coolants, injector cleaners, and many more. Buy any of our products at any of our GNPC branches and get something change for free. At GNPC, we also do bulk selling for clients with fuel tanks at their premises. Our branches are located at Fajara, Banjul, Bondung, Abuko, Brikama, Soma, Farafenye, Basse and Bansang. In observance of the July 22nd anniversary celebrations, GNPC is pleased to announce a discount of $1 on each liter of petrol or gas oil purchased effective Tuesday, 21st July 2015 for a period of 30 days. For more information, visit our website on www.gnpc.gm. GNPC, Nyokomom.
Rising sea level is one of the major environmental challenges facing developing countries, such as the Gambia. Experts have given stark warnings about what will happen and how certain cities will disappear if something is not done to avert a major environmental problem. So be aware of climate change.
Banjul, Gambia. This West African city is nestled up beside the Atlantic Ocean and faces the threat of rising sea levels. On top of that is the possibility of coastline erosion, which increases the chance that the city will submerge underwater. Even worse is the prospect that the rise in sea levels could disrupt the city's rice production, which is a vital part of their economy.
Welcome back. Today is World Elephant Day, a day intended to draw attention to the urgent flight of Asian and African elephants. Poaching, habitat loss, mistreatment, and capacity are some of the factors that have led to the disappearance of the beautiful creature. CNN's Robin Coronel is now in Kenya and takes a closer look at the dangerous elephant's face.
Job on his hands, protecting his crops from hungry neighbors.
There were 7 elephants. As soon as we heard them, we ran out to drive them away. But the elephants aren't afraid of us, so they just stay put. They destroyed the fields, and suddenly our livelihood was gone. We fear for our lives.
But elephants and people do largely get along here. Conservationists and local authorities have set up protected corridors, allowing the elephants to roam along age-old routes. These trails are patrolled regularly to preempt possible problems, such as elephants crossing busy roads.
Yeah, we are standing on a migratory route that is coming from Botswana to Angola, to Zambia and Angola. Unfortunately, it passes the Trans-Zambezi Highway, where it could be danger to wildlife such as elephant and also people.
The project is part of the Kavango Zambezi Park. It covers territory in Botswana, Namibia, Zambia, Angola and Zimbabwe. The park is successful because the local people profit from the elephants. They have even set up conservation areas outside the park so they can earn money, as we hear from Chief Joseph Mayuni, the community leader.
Protecting the elephants has created jobs for the young people in our community. We also get a good income from tourism, from lodges and campsites. Then we also have trophy hunting in our area. Hunting firms get licenses, which also bring us a lot of money.
Hunting and tourism provide the main sources of income. Lodge owner Johan Marx says that means local people really value the animals.
Over a long period of time, they can receive financial benefit from the animals instead of poaching them.
As a result, the elephants are free to roam almost as they please, even if that does mean crossing the odd road or other man-made obstacles. Job on his hands.
Police in Pakistan have arrested more than a dozen people accused of sexually abusing children on camera and then blackmailing the children by threatening to sell the recordings. More than 270 minors were involved. CNN's Anna Cohen reports.
Beneath the beauty and serenity of the lush fields of this farming community in Pakistan's Punjab province lies a horrific secret of abuse on an unfathomable scale. It allegedly involves hundreds of children in the town of Hussain Khanwala who were sexually abused by a gang from an influential family. They would film the heinous act and blackmail the children, threatening to release the videos online or sell them at the local markets if they told anyone. One victim describes how it began 6 years ago while he was in a field collecting water. Aged just 9 at the time, a man with a gun told him to come back to his home to fill his water bottle. As soon as I went inside, he locked the door. He called out and 5 more men came in. I started screaming and they covered my mouth. Each of them had a weapon. One had an axe. They said they would cut me into tiny pieces if I made a single sound. Then they raped me. The sexual abuse continued for years, often in this house. He claims they would sometimes drug him before raping him. I stole jewelry and money for them, otherwise they said they would kill me and feed my body to the dogs. I stole from home, hoping they would stop hurting me. Despite the scale of abuse, many parents were not aware. Those who knew were too afraid to speak out until a few months ago, when one of the victim's mothers was shown a video of her child being raped. My heart sank when I saw my son in the video. Everyone in the village knew what was happening, but was too scared to say anything. They raped my son for 5 years, and now it's finally coming out into the open. They're savages. This time the village is united against them. We will face them. The parents claim they reported the abuse to police, but were turned away. It was
Time now for a second break. The news continues in a moment.
Is one of the major environmental challenges facing developing countries, such as the Gambia. Experts have given stark warnings about what will happen and how certain cities will disappear if something is not done to avert a major environmental problem. So be aware of climate change.
Banjul, Gambia. This West African city is nestled up beside the Atlantic Ocean and faces the threat of rising sea levels. On top of that is the possibility of coastline erosion, which increases the chance that the city will submerge underwater. Even worse is the prospect that the rise in sea levels could disrupt the city's rice production, which is a vital part of their economy.
We now shift attention to the weather report, which comes to you courtesy of the Central Forecast Office.
Land is what gives us the hope to carry on. And as it was in the beginning, we started with a belief to serve. Elton, a new vision of service.
Hello there, wonderful viewers. Welcome to the weather segment. We experienced a variably cloudy atmosphere with intermittent rain. Rainfall figures will be reported in our next bulletin. The satellite picture indicates rain-bearing clouds over parts of Gulf of Guinea, likewise the central and eastern parts of Africa. There is also a cell over the Senegambia region, which will persist in the next 24 hours. Tonight we expect the intermittent rain to continue throughout the period. Likewise tomorrow morning and in the afternoon, we're expecting a variably cloudy atmosphere with isolated rain showers. Surface winds will be variable and the speed will vary between 5 and 10 kilometers per hour. Temperatures across the country minimum will be 24 degrees Celsius across the country, whilst maximum temperatures over the Greater Banjul, West Coast and North Bank, it will vary between 28 and 29 degrees Celsius, whilst the rest of the Gambia will be either 30 or 31 degrees Celsius warm. Low tides will be 0.3 meters at 3 a.m. and also at 3 p.m. High tides will be 1.8 meters at 9 a.m. and 1.6 meters at 10 p.m. Waves will vary between 0 to 1 meter, northwesterly swells. The sun will rise at 11 minutes to 7 in the morning and will set at 29 minutes to 8 in the evening. Thanks for watching, and from the Central Forecast Office, I am Hadigato Abdul Hakim.
And before we take leave of you, a recap of today's main stories. Harnessing the Gambia's huge energy potential and ensuring full implementation of National Action Plan topped the agenda at a two-day interface staged by the Ministry of Energy. Members of Guinea-Bissau's National Farmer Association are seeking to establish a close partnership with the Gambia. Child Protection Alliance has embarked on an ambitious drive to build a critical mass of community representatives and ward councillors armed with skills to track budgets. Police in Pakistan have broken up what they are calling a child sexual abuse ring involving a staggering 270 minors. And debt-saddled Greece has said that it is being overwhelmed by the thousands of migrants landing on its shores. That was all in this edition of the news. Thanks for the pleasure of your company, and do have a good night.